Hello, everybody. This is Ruth Theresa with One Inspiring Woman, and I'm so excited to be live with you today. I've got a couple of things going on. I am ready to do some dream interpretations for you guys or with you guys. I'm so excited. Several of y'all have reached out and sent me your dreams, which is so much fun. I've enjoyed reading them, and I'm going to enjoy interpreting them with you. I'm going to go over a couple of things. So right now on my Facebook page, I am doing a drawing. If you don't know, Sunday is National Paranormal Day for the United States. So I'm so excited. I started drawing last night. If you like and share and comment on things on my One Inspiring Woman Ruth Theresa page, which is my business page, every time you do that, I will give you um, a ticket to put your name in the bucket. So it's one of those. So all of those, I keep track of those, and every time you like and comment, or comment and then like and all that kind of stuff, I put all of that in there and keep track of all that. And then I list them all down as it comes in. And then my angels and guides will tell me which number, and I'll go to that number, and that's the person that wins. So it's all random, which makes it kind of fun. So that will be ending May 3rd. So I'll be announcing the winner. So if you are on Facebook, I'd love for you to join me. I wish I could do drawings on the other ones on Instagram and YouTube, but they have so many rules and regulations. It's just too much to deal with at this point. Um, if you are on my newsletter, you received my main newsletter, so that went out early, about an hour ago. And then let's see, that's it. That's it. That's all my technical stuff I had to do. So I'm going to start with a couple of dreams that I got emailed to me either last night or tomorrow. Yeah, tomorrow, last night or today. It's one of those. So if you have any questions or comments, I want your opinion. I really do. I want y'all to help me interpret these. Um, some of them are quite interesting. Some of them are really kind of out there, and that's okay. Everybody does not have normal kind of dreams or dreams that seem to be normal for everybody else. So I just want you to understand that um, their dreams come in different ways, and they're really interesting. They can be really interesting, and I think one of the things that most people don't understand about your dreams is sometimes they'll be like, oh, I had a dream about a snake, so they'll look up information on the snake. Yet at the same time, they're not looking at everything else in the dream, like, oh, this is what this means. But means dreams do not usually have just one meaning. It's multiple meanings or layers of meanings, especially if you're changing location. So if one of your dreams starts in one location and you all of a sudden you're at a different location, or if you get on a train or a bus or communicate car or whatever else and you transport somewhere else, that's giving you a different layer. And a lot of people don't understand that. They're just like, oh, I got in the car and we went here, there, or yonder, or whatever it is. And it was like, no, 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 no. That means that there's another layer of news or interesting stuff that's coming through. So make sure that you're looking for all of those details and kind of getting that information in there. And I think that's what's most important for most people is that you've got that information there. So research it and look at it and kind of interpret every probably 5 or 6 words that you say is a word that you're going to interpret. And especially using your feelings. How did you feel about this? How did you feel when this happened? How did you feel when that happened? That makes a difference. If the scene is very chaotic, but you felt at peace, that is something, that's something different. That's telling you there's a message. Or if everybody else is calm, cool, and collected, and you're yelling at people. I know a lot of people have those dreams. I did raise my hand. I did. When I was pregnant with my son, I would have these dreams that he was being born, and he had 2 arms on the side, but he also had an extra arm coming out of his forehead. And I was like telling the doctors, like, and they're going, oh, he's so beautiful. And I'm like, but he's got an arm coming out of his forehead. What does this mean? And I kept having those, and it was one of those, it wasn't a dream about him, it was a dream about me not being able to handle. So I needed something else to hand to handle, having a small baby and feeling like I wasn't going to be supported. as that process happened. So it's one of those, there are multiple meanings, and it's really important that you understand what those meanings are. So we're ready to get through. Um, so this one came through a client of mine, and she didn't give me her son's name. So um, uh, let's see. Her son had a dream which started with him riding his bike, and then there was an African American young man about age 16 years old, started riding the son's bike. Then the son said he was going back to the house without knowing, with a knowing that the young man would not return his bike. His dad was outside. The young man's dad was outside, and he told him what happened. And then all of a sudden, and the young man and the father were about to fight. And the son realized that the young man had a bat in his hand, about to hit his father. So the son pulled out a knife and put it in his hand and stabbed the young man in the lower back. Interesting. Um, then the son was inside the house looking out of the sister's window. That's that second level. So that's actually the third level because he was in the street, in the yard, and now he's in the house. Third level, three levels in this one. Watching the young man holding his stomach and bleeding bright red blood into the street. Then my son woke up. So anything that y'all come through with this. So any information or any insights that y'all get. I do get that there's three levels. So they were in the street, they were in the front yard, and then he was in his sister's window. So that's three levels right there of communication that are coming through. Um, I think it's interesting that the African American young man was about 16 years of age. I don't think her son was that old when this happened. So that's an interesting fact that he was older. He was probably taller or bigger, and that would make him feel inferior or less than or not capable of dealing with this situation on his own. Um, Also, the young man's seeing the bat that the dad didn't see. That's his insight of seeing things that other people don't see, or picking up things that other people don't recognize or understand the meaning of. But him recognizing the bat that his dad didn't see is really important. Um, Anybody coming through with some insight for me? Um, Also, the knife to the back, anywhere in the low back, because it says that he knifed him in the lower back. And that's all about, your back is all about your support system. So it's all about where do you feel supported. And if this young man felt that he had to get a knife on his own and to stab the young man in the back, he felt like he was not being supported at that time when the dream happened. Um, and I would say because he went to his sister's window, it's one of those, he probably feels like his sister feels supported, or feels supported compared to him. So that's an interesting one. Um, and he could see the young man holding his stomach, which he didn't. He hit him in the stomach. He would hit him back, so he should have been holding his back. Stomach is all about um, information that's coming through that you have not put into your world, or have not integrated into your system. So that's what your stomach is all about. Bleeding into the street, which is a common area, is all about what his common reaction, or him feeling like he has to be a common person to be able to support his energy at this time, and not take advantage of his abilities, which helped him during this. Um, any insight? Anything? Anybody? No. All quiet on the Western Front. Okay, so let's go into Magnan's dream. This took um, Magnan's dream took place outside of her front doors of her junior high in her hometown where she currently lives. The air was like a yellowish color, and there were train tracks right off the curb of the school. The train was old, silver, and metal. It looked like it had three levels, and it was odd and scary looking. Inside the trains, there were silver thick chains hanging. I had a knowing that the trains were for hauling people by chaining them inside of it. People were gathering in small groups, talking quietly amongst themselves. Some people were sitting on the ground or standing, but no one was alone. Everybody was in groups or clumps of people. The people were getting some food and supplies there, and everybody was waiting for an announcement or message. Something had just taken place that felt very shocking. That was very shocking, and it felt like that this was another wave or phase of what just taken place. Um, on the red brick building of the school, a message began to appear on the brick. The message started to appear with a green laser beams. That's when I started to panic because I didn't have anything to write with. I had a piece of paper, but nothing to write with. I started running around from person to person asking for a pen. I felt very intense panic and despair. I woke up and was gasping for air. This was one of the most intense dreams she has ever had, and I still feel it still very strongly in the pit of my stomach. I do not recall if I ever saw the entire message or if I'm blocking it out for some reason. So, any insight? Anybody? Any insight to the dream? Any insight to any of the messages? So let's start at the beginning. Um, Starting at her junior high in her hometown, that's someplace very familiar to her. The air is yellowish in color. I would assume that that's not the way it normally is, and so that can add a layer of being scary, but it can also kind of yellow is all about being afraid of what's going on in front of you, and also being timid, being shy or being timid. The train tracks were right off the curb, so they were close. It's one of those, and I feel like she probably didn't have train tracks right next to her high school or junior high. So that's something that's new or different, or it's not a dream about something that's currently happening. Um, the train was old, silver, and metal. So the image that I get is something from like the 1800s, one of the steam trains or something like that, where you have a lot of the metal piping on the outside. And that can look a little scary because it's got all of these pipings that you wouldn't normally see on a newer train. Um, and then looking inside, seeing silver thick chains and realizing, like, oh my gosh, they're having to chain people in this train. That can be scary. She can also feel like a relief at times that she's not being chained or was not chained up in there, but just having that realization that other people were, that can be overwhelming. um, People are We're gathering in small groups. So people gathering in small groups is all about um, other people feeling safe in groups or communities. And I don't feel like she was in a group or a community. So it's one of those, because she's by herself moving around later on. So it's one of those, she may have felt that everybody else was being protected or had people to support them, but she did not. Um, let's see. Um, some people were sitting on the ground or standing, but no one was alone. So everybody else is together. She's not with anybody. People were getting some food and supplies. So other people were being supported. Got it? Other people were being supported as they were waiting for an announcement. Something had just taken place that felt very shocking. It felt like there was another wave or phase um, of about to come again. So it's one of those, like, I'm feeling prepared now, but am I prepared for the next phase? Am I prepared for what's coming next? Um, on the side of the building, a message starts to appear, and it's in green. Very significant. Green is about changes, and it can be upgrading or it could be downgrading. Green is also the color of jealousy. So, and right afterwards, you're seeing her wanting to run around and ask people for a pen or a pencil to be able to write down the message, feeling that other people are getting the message that she's not, and that can cause jealousy in us. Um, it also it can also cause panic. You know, if we feel like other people have things or they're more prepared than we are, then we it can bring up this panic or despair in us. Um, let's see, she woke up gasping for air. This was one of the most intense dreams. So, is there anybody that gets anything? Also, a strong feeling in the pit of her stomach. Anybody got any messages on this one? No, no messages, no ideas, no hints. Y'all are very quiet today, and it's a Friday. Y'all should be more noisy. It's Friday. It's Friday. So I also get in Magnan's dream that there is part of this is something that came in from a past life. So I feel like there's a past life connection here, um, especially when the train had three levels on it. I do feel like that's a past life. It's a current life. It's her current life and then a past life, and that's the combination of levels in her dream. I also get that people sitting around or standing, especially the sitting part, is very important. Most people do not sit in a dream. It's very unlikely. It doesn't happen very often. So if someone else felt very comfortable to sit, it's one of those that may make her feel more anxiety or more anxious during this whole situation. Um, and then everybody else being supplied or given food means that there's some jealousy that other people have something that she was not, or she did not have support that other people were being given. Any other messages or anything else you get about Magnan's dream? No. Okay, here we go. This one came in from Margot. I work with Margot quite often. This is one that she submitted to me a couple of days ago, and she was very excited about this one. She was driving home from work and driving, she said, almost like, like a race car, like I'm zooming in and out of traffic really, really fast. She gets home and her husband is not there. She starts to worry, kind of like, where did he go? What's going on? And so she starts to look for him. At first, she starts looking in very strange or odd places, like under the sofa or under the dining room table, behind the curtains. So, odd places that you would normally not look for your husband for. Um, she starts working her way towards the bedroom. She starts to hear a noise in the bedroom. She opens up the door, and her husband is in bed with a stranger. Um, she started to get very angry and upset. She fell to the floor and cried. And she woke up feeling like someone had hit her in the stomach. Any messages? Any messages? Anybody getting? Is that what it is? It's interesting. I never had this happen. I like literally popped off. Here we go. Okay, I so apologize. For some reason, it did not start the way it was supposed to. So that's kind of an interesting one. Um, I've got several people jumping back on. I so apologize. For some reason, that's why I was like, nobody's commenting anything, which is kind of strange. Normally, y'all are very vocal. So I'm gonna let a couple more people jump on. I'm gonna reread Margot's dream. As everybody's jumping on, Margaret was driving home from work and she was driving very fast, like a race car driver. When she got home, her husband was not there, and she started to worry about him. She started to look for him in very strange or odd places, like under the sofa, underneath the dining room table, and behind the curtains. She started working her way through the house towards the bedroom. She heard a noise prior to her opening the door, and when she opened the door, her husband was in bed with a stranger. She started to get very angry and mad and fell to the floor and started to cry. She had pains in her stomach when she woke up. So, any idea of what happened to Margot about her dream? Any interpretations, any suggestions, hints, or ideas that you think um, past life? I do feel like part of this is past life with Margot, but I also feel like there's a lot of the fear part, especially the pain in her stomach, comes in from current life. So it's kind of a combination past life and current life. Um, but the past life comes in the part where she was looking for her husband in odd places, underneath the sofa, underneath the dining room table, and behind the curtains. That's the part that denotes a past life. Did anybody else pick up on that? Thank you, Miss Sharon. You are amazing. Um, any yeah, okay. Any other comments? Okay, so here we go. This one is from Gina. She said this one was like a very profound one for her. This happened about 6 years ago. And I had another one that was submitted that was similar. So I just took Gina's. Um, let's see. Gina woke up in her dream. She woke up. So she didn't literally wake up. She woke up in her dream and she felt like there was something wrong. Um, and as she rolls around and stretches, and she rolls over to see if her fiance was in bed or if he had already gotten up. And when she did, she saw her fiance having sex with her mother. She felt sad, betrayed, and unsupported. Any suggestions or ideas for this one? Anything that you think comes through? Anything that you understand about this one? Even though it's a short one, it has some really good messages in there. So I think that's one of the reasons why I picked Gina's is because it's really cool, even though it's short. No, no messages. So waking up inside of a dream is denoting that you're going to a lower level. She kind of rolled around and stretched, so she was kind of doing her normal routine of waking up, but feeling something's wrong or out of place. That is something you've got to start trusting your gut on that when things don't feel right, trusting your gut on that. And then she saw her fiance having sex with her mom. So I understand that there's a lot of issues between Gina and her mom. So there's a lot of issues of her mom is always competing with her, always wanting to overshadow Gina. So it's one of those, and that was basically it's about Gina's fear of being overshadowed with her fiance and her mom. So feeling like that things are not going to go her way, and also they were having arguments. I think at the time about the wedding and what her mom wanted compared to what Gina wanted. Okay, the last one I'm going to read, maybe we'll see. We'll see how fast we can get through this one. Um, is a dream of mine. So I will let you into my psyche for a little bit and see if y'all can help me interpret my dream. So I had a dream. It opened up in a barn full of horses. So I am feeding them and petting them and loving on them. And then all of a sudden, a train comes straight through the middle of the barn. I got on the train and went to its next stop, which was the Universe train station. That's what it was called. Um, I got off and you could see the sun outside. So it was really near the sun. I got off and ran to the station master and talked to him. And then we walked into a meeting. As I walked into the meeting, I felt very overwhelmed with energy and the feelings of other people in the meeting. Um, I started to take notes and felt like I was very excited and honored to hear others talking. Any suggestions, ideas, anything that you would take away from that one? Any suggestions, hints, ideas? So this one, because I'm talking about the Universe train station, that's major upper level energy that I deal with. The horses are medium level, so starting in a medium level, moving up to an upper level, and then taking the train even further is interesting. Um, I do remember when I got off the train, there was a lot of stars in the sky. There was a lot of sunlight, and on one side there was a lot of stars. So it was kind of really interesting. Um, I what I get is as I got off the train station, realizing that I'm supposed to be there for a meeting was really interesting for me, and went into straight into a meeting and feeling like I was overwhelmed by the energy of everybody communicating and talking, but really feeling excited and honored to be part of the meeting. This is all about next level stuff that's coming in for me over the next year or so. Um, any other um, questions you have about dreams? This is the end of our dream series. I'm very excited that a lot of y'all been through a lot of these. If not, go to my YouTube channel. Everything is on the YouTube channel. You can go, or I think even on Facebook. We'll see where everybody is. If you have any questions, comment on them. Like I said, I'm doing the paranormal National Paranormal Day drawing, so that's always fun. So you can post something there and get some points for that. Um, and then I'm also asking for people to fill out my ghost tour form. We are a group of people, and I are looking into doing some ghost tours. This would be not a normal ghost tour. This would be going with a psychic with me. I would be teaching a little bit ahead of time of how to connect with their energy and how to deconnect from their energy, kind of being able to pull through the information and getting that information that they're willing to tell you or the stories that are coming through. So I would love to hear from you guys. There's hopefully maybe not in this one, but on Facebook, I'll put that on in a little bit. If on YouTube or Instagram, that'll be on the side. I thank you so much for joining me today. I hope you have an amazing day and know we'll be talking soon.